Most people dealing with ticks in their yard are solving the wrong problem. They are mowing the center of their lawn, treating the open grass, and wondering why they are still pulling ticks off their kids and dogs every evening. The center of your lawn is not where ticks live. It never was. Ticks live in leaf litter, shaded fence lines, wood piles, and the narrow transition zone where your yard meets the woods or garden edge. That strip is where the entire tick population on your property is concentrated, and if you treat it correctly with the right material and the right barrier, you can eliminate the vast majority of your tick problem without a single synthetic chemical, without anything harmful to your pets or children, and for a fraction of what pest control companies charge per visit. Today we are covering 4 methods, from the fastest to the most permanent. By the end, you will have a complete layered system you can deploy this week. Before the methods, tick biology deserves a clear explanation because it is the thing that makes this entire strategy immediately logical. Ticks do not hunt, fly, or jump. Instead, they use a behavior called questing. They climb onto grass blades, leaves, or debris, stretch out their front legs, and wait for a warm-blooded host to brush past. Once attached, they crawl upward toward warm, exposed skin. This is why short, sunlit, well-maintained lawns are less inviting. The real danger lies in shaded, damp transition areas where lawns meet taller grass, leaf litter, wood piles, and garden borders. A common misconception is that spotting one tick means there is only one. In reality, a single female deer tick can lay between 2,000 and 6,000 eggs during her lifetime. One tick may signal the beginning of a growing colony. Ticks are also no longer just associated with Lyme disease, which has increased significantly across North America over the past 15 years. Another serious concern is alpha-gal syndrome, a tick bite-triggered allergy to red meat and, in some cases, dairy products, caused by bites from the Lone Star tick. The CDC estimates that up to 450,000 people in the United States may be affected, many without realizing it. This growing public health concern makes controlling ticks around your home more important than ever. The most effective strategy is treating your yard's perimeter, where ticks thrive. The following methods focus on creating a protective barrier that interrupts their life cycle. 3 of these methods rely on cedar, specifically the natural compounds thujone and plicatic acid found in western red cedar. When ticks come into contact with these compounds, their spiracles, the tiny openings they use to breathe, are disrupted. This causes rapid dehydration and death within hours. Unlike DEET, which repels insects by masking human scent, cedar kills ticks on contact. It is also considered safe for mammals, including dogs and children, because mammals process these compounds differently. This same natural protection explains why cedar chests have kept moths away for generations. The pest control industry has long recognized cedar's effectiveness, which is why many professional tick control treatments are cedar oil based. One important note that applies to every cedar method in this video: never apply cedar essential oil directly to cats. Cats lack a specific liver enzyme that dogs and humans use to break down certain aromatic compounds. What is safe for your dog and your children can accumulate to harmful levels in a cat. Cedar chips in your yard and cedar spray around your yard's perimeter are perfectly fine in a home with cats. Direct application to a cat's coat is not. The first method is a commercial cedar oil yard spray. The most widely recognized product in this category is Wondercide, a concentrate of cedar oil and sesame oil that you dilute and spray along your lawn's perimeter, fence lines, shaded areas, and around the base of your deck. A bottle covering 5,000 square feet runs about $29 and requires reapplication every 2 to 4 weeks during peak tick season. This is the most convenient entry point into this approach if you want something you can buy today and start using without mixing anything. Read the back of any cedar-based yard spray before buying it. The only ingredient that actually matters is cedarwood oil. Everything else is filler or carrier. The second method is a homemade cedar spray that uses the same active ingredient for a fraction of the price. Combine 1 teaspoon of pure cedarwood essential oil, 1 cup of distilled water, and 1 tablespoon of witch hazel or unflavored vodka in a standard spray bottle. The witch hazel or vodka is not optional. It acts as an emulsifier, allowing the oil and water to combine rather than immediately separating into layers. Without it, you would be shaking the bottle and spraying mostly water. Shake the bottle well before each use regardless, since some natural separation will occur between applications. Store your mixed bottle in a cool, dark location. Direct sunlight breaks down the cedar oil and weakens the spray noticeably. Spray along your yard's perimeter, fence lines, the edge of any wooded or brushy area bordering your property, and around the base of your deck and outbuildings. You can also apply it directly to your shoes, your pant legs, and around your dog's collar before outdoor activity. Each batch costs roughly $3 to $4 to mix. A single $12 bottle of pure cedarwood essential oil produces more than 16 batches, meaning one bottle covers an entire tick season for the average yard at roughly 70% less than the cost of the commercial version using the exact same chemistry. If you are finding this useful and you want this kind of practical cost-saving knowledge delivered to you every week, subscribe to this channel right now and hit the bell. Every week we bring back the kind of self-sufficiency knowledge that used to be common sense before it got replaced by expensive products. Subscribe before you need the next one. The third method is the permanent barrier, and it is the most significant long-term investment on this list. Instead of repeatedly spraying a liquid that breaks down every few weeks, you can create a physical and chemical barrier that ticks cannot cross and that requires almost no maintenance for years at a time. The material is Western red cedar chips, and the specification matters. Not the cheap dyed mulch sold in compressed bags at big box stores. Actual Western red cedar chips sold by weight at landscape supply yards. True Western red cedar contains thujone and plicatic acid throughout the wood fiber itself, not as an added coating, so the barrier remains chemically active as the chips slowly break down over time. Lay these chips in a band 3 feet wide and 3 inches deep along the entire perimeter where your lawn meets the woods, your fence line, your garden edge, or any other transition zone connecting to natural tick habitat. Ticks avoid dry, open, aromatic surfaces. They will not cross a properly maintained cedar barrier to reach your lawn. The Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station, which has studied tick management strategies for decades, and whose research informs the CDC's own landscaping recommendations, has documented that a 3-foot wide wood chip barrier placed between lawn and wooded areas significantly reduces tick populations within the protected zone. The CDC echoes this recommendation directly on its tick prevention page. A cubic yard of Western red cedar chips from a landscape supply yard typically costs between $40 and $60. Before you buy, call a local tree service company first. Arborists remove and chip trees regularly, and they often pay to dump the resulting material at landfills. Many tree crews will deliver a truckload of cedar chips to your driveway for free or a small tip if you catch them during a job nearby. People have built complete perimeter barriers for nearly nothing using this approach. You replenish a thin layer every 2 to 3 years as the chips gradually break down. One upfront afternoon of work, and the barrier is working around the clock from that point forward. The fourth method costs almost nothing and takes about 10 seconds to deploy. Before stepping into any area with tall grass, leaf litter, or woods, wrap a strip of wide duct tape around the top of each sock with the sticky side facing outward. 1 or 2 bands thick is enough. Here is why it works. Ticks transfer from vegetation onto your shoe or lower leg and immediately begin climbing upward to fine skin. They hit the sticky surface of the outward-facing tape before they reach your ankle, and they are physically glued in place. There is no chemistry to dodge, no resistance is possible. When you come inside, peel the tape off, fold the sticky sides together, and dispose of it. 3 cents per ankle per outing, and it works every time the mechanism is engaged. Used alongside the cedar spray on your shoes and pant legs, ticks face 2 consecutive barriers before they can ever reach your skin. The complete 4-layer protocol looks like this. Lay the cedar chip barrier along your entire property perimeter once and refresh it every couple of years. Spray the cedar oil solution along fence lines, under the deck, and along shaded edges every 2 weeks during tick season. Wrap duct tape, sticky side out, around your ankles every time you step into the yard during warm months. And if you ever find a tick that made it through, deal with it immediately using fine-tipped tweezers, gripping as close to the skin as possible and pulling straight upward without twisting. Cedar at the perimeter, chips as a permanent barrier. Tape on your ankles before you go out. 4 layers, no synthetic chemicals, and a yard your kids and dogs can actually use without you following them inside for a full-body tick check. The next video is already up. Go watch it now.